For this parent coaching tool, I've invited Alan Miller, who is one of our trainers who runs our parent coach training cohorts because we jokingly call Alan the queen of curiosity questions on our team meetings. And Alan is an amazing coach. And so, Alan, I guess I'll start. I want to hear why you love curiosity questions.
Oh, there are lots of reasons, but I think the biggest reason is that if we can lean into curiosity, it just helps us remain open to the infinite possibilities. And as much as we know about ourselves and as much as we know about our children, when we can get into curiosity, it lets us kind of have that beginner's eye and not risk falling into assumption or thinking that we already know when we might be surprised. There might be something new that could help us. So I think that's why curiosity is really powerful.
How does it play into your role as a coach?
Oh, for sure. As a coach, I think I can often kind of see a potential pathway to explore that the client is not even aware exists. And so then I go with curiosity. And often, I think one of the phrases I use the most is, I wonder if, like, I might have this potential idea when I phrase it as, I wonder if it's still open. It could be true. It could resonate. It could make sense for the person hearing my reflection, and it could be something completely different. And either way, their response is going to help me get closer to understanding their experience.
What are some ways, whether you're using curiosity questions with your children or your clients, what are some ways that people can, like we have to make sure that we're not asking leading questions or unintentionally inserting our assumptions or worldview or perspective by the kind of question that we ask. And I'm
Yeah.
curious how you teach coaches to be self aware about that and to kind of stay away from that third rail.
That is a really important consideration. And so, starting with, I wonder if you can share whatever your best guess might be, and then follow up with, how does that resonate? And that way, that's helping check that the client is the one centered, that you're not attached to whether your guess was right or wrong, or how close your guess was matching their experience. It's, here is what I am seeing from my perspective, and how does that match where you are in your perspective? My goal is to get closer into your experience, not to influence your experience. That's the opposite. I'm not here to influence anybody. I'm here to understand and to use that understanding to guide. But
I think it's kind of I think people might imagine that the relationship between coach and client is the opposite, right? Like the client asks questions and the coach answers them. Can you say more about why as coaches we don't? I mean, it's not like we don't answer questions, but can you speak to kind of the ethics of that?
well, it's really interesting because if a client is coming into a coaching session really hoping and wanting that their coach will give them answers, I actually see that as symptomatic of the power hierarchies that we've experienced throughout our lives. We think someone else knows better than we do. And so let me turn to this person that I think might know more. Just give me the answer. And so understanding that, I name that recognition that I imagine you would just love to be able to figure this out right now, and sort of that instant gratification. Let's just make it better. And as the coach, I'm willing to hold the space and hold the discomfort of allowing a client to be in their process. And so if I hear a question that's kind of like, so what do I do? I'll turn it back and say, I know you really want to have a clear answer. Let's work on this together so that you can find the answer that makes the most sense for you. And that often turns to some frustration. But that's just part of the process because it's not for me to give an answer. Um, I can, I will gently, lovingly offer some suggestions, and I still keep it open to, you can say no to all of it. And then we just come back to see what else is possible. Let's see what else is there.
Yeah. From my perspective, I think, I've learned over these last, 15 years of coaching people that their conclusions are so much more, what's the word that I want? They have so much more fuel for actual transformation than if I just simply said, do this, don't do this, don't think this, right? We're really here to evoke confidence and trust in people's own inner authority and self-actualization. And it's kind of like the same in parenting. Like if we do it for our kids, they don't learn how. Well, it's kind of the same in adult dynamics.
Yeah. And it's really interesting. Yeah. I just recently had a conversation like that where a mom was wondering, well, what do I do with this like angry energy? And I had like lots of ideas ready to go, but I just turned it back and said, well, is there anything that you've already used or something that you already do that you think might make sense? And just with that question, turning it back over to her, she remembered years ago in a different situation, a strategy that worked really well. And she was like, oh, wow, I just haven't done that in a really long time. And I could. I really loved it. I was like, great. And then I didn't have to offer anything. I was just offering the space for that person to get to stay in their experience and to bring up what was most relevant and most available. And if it was a total blank, like I got nothing, of course I'm ready to, kind of get the wheels going and see what might land. But so many times the person already has something, they just haven't had the space to go find it and explore to see what's there.
Thank you so much, Alan. So we're going to include below this video a document that's actually from inside of our coach training program, just kind of a cheat sheet to the cheat sheet with some more ways to think about asking curiosity questions. And we hope you enjoy that. And Alan created it. So thank you, Alan. We love you so much.
You're quite welcome.